We start the recording. Okay, so today's session we are going to mainly cover the test management in Agile. So we'll first in part of the session I will introduce a little bit of Agile to you, and then what is Agile development practice, and the third part is the quality management in Agile, and then a case study. Probably we'll look at the question and we'll discuss. So I think we discussed this little bit very beginning. So what is waterfall? So why waterfall is and what are the problems waterfall? I think I am not going to deep dive again. Uh, so we just discussed few. I think we already discussed in previous sessions. So I'm not going to deep dive right now. I think if you have any questions, you can ask, but I'm not going to deep dive waterfall because of the time. But the even that session we discussed. So there are some concerns in the waterfall. So basically, waterfall, the testing will be done at very later stages, and if there are some things went wrong in the requirement or in the initial stages, you have to come back to the initial stage and redo it, and there are lots of rework, and it is start about the management is a completely time waste. And this kind of thing is especially QA team will get a lot of large work to do at the end, and it will be really burnt out, and it might not deliver value add. And those are the basic issues what we discussed. But there are many other issues. So when it comes to agile, I hope this topic sometimes you might have learned some other different topics of the engineering of the project management sessions, but uh, I will be give a brief overview about this what is agile. So agile, agile software development basically we look for a kind of a collaborative software development, and it kind of a iterative software development as well. So collaborative plus iterative, with both included. And the main aspects of agile is so the previous uh, software development models have a lot of challenges, a lot of efforts coming on, and at the end only we will see the results. But with agile, we will start developing stories, journeys start from the beginning, and we will be delivering the outcome for a small sprint, so a small time of period. Because of that, so it deliver fast and deliver high quality, and rather waiting till the end. And it is a very collaborative platform, very collaborative model. We have to work very collaboratively with, we'll see why I'm saying collaborative in next couple of sessions, a couple of slides. So basically, it's a very collaborative one. Right? This is Agile Manifesto. I just sharing with my slide. So, so basically, Agile is a project management and software development effort. Right? It's like one of kind of iterative, incremental. There are frequent delivery, and mainly, as I mentioned, uh, quality driven because of uh, we deliver small work frequently. Because of that, the quality will be improved, and we even client or whoever the end users will know what we are going to deliver, maybe bi-weekly or to something very short period. And a lot of frequent customer feedback we will get because we will be delivering incrementally and small chunk of product at a once, not a large complete product at the end. So regularly you will be delivering. So it requires a lot of collaborations and a lot of it deliver a lot of high quality product, and it's kind of a so some says it's kind of philosophy, yes. So it's people differently describe it. Some say it's process, some say it's not a process, it's a philosophy, some say it's a model. So various interpretations are there. So basically, this is how it is. So incremental development. So basically, development team will start develop a small set of features, user stories. Then they will get the feedback, and then they will update it based on the feedback, and they will incorporate them, and they will deliver it and go to the next deliver. Right? So it's kind of incremental, as we mentioned. There are a lot of multiple increments for maybe a software, maybe 30, 50, 60, 70, maybe 100 increments will be there. So slowly you will be delivered a small. So when it goes like that, so there are many methods within the agile. There are many methods. So you can use any kind of methodology. These are actually frameworks. Some cases framework, agile frameworks. So the Kanban is a one framework, Scrum is one framework, Safe, Agile is one another framework. These are the three very commonly used framework. But out of three, one Scrum is the most popular, mostly used framework. But there are similarities and some deviations as well. But Scrum is one of mostly user friendly, and most of the industries, most of the companies right now use. So because of that, you might have that word as a Scrum. So Scrum is a framework that we use for agile development. So Scrum is a kind of a lightweight process, and your organization we use to a small cross-functional teams, especially self-organizing, self-running team, and so they will deliver a small chunk of work. Mostly it will be the fixed time frame. Mostly it will be 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Some organization decided it to 4 weeks as well, but based on the organization, it will be depend, right? So it will be small chunk of work. It will be uh, delivered in the Scrum. Right? It's almost same as our TS mentioned is agile, but we'll deep dive what is Scrum is. Okay. Okay, let's move on. So Kanban is also similar framework. So it's also kind of a bit frame, a little bit popular one basically, especially on DevOps side. So actually people are on DevOps, they really like Kanban. So, but it's almost same as Scrum, but there are some divisions. Mostly visualize your status and your work and something like that. And no much deviation, but there are few differences when we are running it. So, Safe Agile is also another kind of framework. So, it's also a lot of collaboration and delivery, also large number of agile. So basically, that's the difference. So if we have, because a very large organization like Microsoft or Google, so they will use they can use this kind of framework because they have a lot of multiple agile teams. Of course, they need to communicate and work on. So because of that, so they will use safe agile methodologies that supports basically the large number of managing large number of agile teams and do the delivery. So basically, this is the agile team or basically Scrum team model, right? Scrum team has only three different roles. So I think when we looked at software development teams, there are many different roles, right? But when it comes to the Scrum methodology, so Scrum framework, we only have three different roles. So these reference, so basically Scrum, the team that we have, we call Scrum team. So either we can have one Scrum team of 5, 7 to 10, or maybe sometimes it's maybe 5, 7, but mainly it will be 7 to 10 team members available in one Scrum team. So, but your project is very large one, then there will be multiple Scrum teams working together. So, but each team will not exceed more than 10. We basically run with 7 to 10 members team for a one Scrum team. So, but there will be multiple Scrum teams. Right? There will be multiple Scrum teams. So, if it is multiple Scrum teams, they have to work together and collaboratively we need to deliver the end of the day final release. So, in the Scrum team, we have 3 different roles. So, one is Scrum Master. The main role is not a Scrum Master, even the product owner. So he will be owning the product. Basically, he will be a kind of SME. SME means subject matter expert or maybe chief business analyst who knows product, who knows the application, what we are going to develop into any what has to be developed. He's the owner. He's the man of this thing, right? He's a we call product owner. So basically, product owner will be the key guy in the source from when it comes to Scrum. So he will be doing uh, he will be managing the entire product because based on his vision, the product will be right. So he will kind of expert. He can't be a junior person. He can't be a very expert, matured, senior resource who know business and doing right. So that's all objective of his role. So second role is Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is maybe we will be selecting one of from your team, our team. So he will manage the team, right? He will manage the team. Basically, he will drive the Scrum. Basically, he's Scrum driver, right? That's why we call him as Scrum Master. He's going to manage or drive his team. So the team is the development team. So that's the 3 role: development role, Scrum Master, or product owner. So basically, product owner is the key guy. Then the Scrum Master who will be driving the team and managing the delivery. And we have the development team. So what is development team? Development team means everybody we will call as a development team. Whether it's a developer, whether it's a BA, whether it's a QA, or whether it's a DevOps resource, or whoever the operations or network, whoever the people who are part of your project Scrum team will mention as a developer. So then only 3 roles: product owner, Scrum Master, and development team. So that's the 3 roles, very flat 3 roles we have. So this is a Scrum team. Right? So many other roles will consider as a development. The product owner is a key guy, as I mentioned. So he defining the vision, right? So he defining the backlog. We'll discuss what is backlog later, right? He manages the backlog, prioritize, and oversees entire development stages and anticipating client needs and evaluating things like this. Give me a second. Okay, so he's a key guy. Again, he's evaluating the product progress, participating in all these discussions, and he's kind of a very matured person who has clear vision to get the build or product out at the end, right? So if you are unable to get the product out, then he might be responsible for entire failure as well. Right? So he's a key man. He's the man. Right? So basically, Sona, as mentioned, so work with the customers, users, all these stakeholders, and determine the features and functionalities to what to develop and what to not to develop, what changes required, and this vision for this thing is really required. Uh, so ensure that the information is sold. Then he has authority. Basically, he has the authority, right? He's a man. He will and all the finance things, economics of the projects and return of investment, all these measures, he's responsible. Right? Basically, he's responsible for everything. And let's review this role with some other old model roles later. Okay, but he's kind of a very highly on person. So, and then because he has to own many roles and drive many roles, so he has to be a very perfect guy. He should have domain skill. What is domain skills in business skill, right? So if it is a capital market project, he should know capital market end to end. If it's a banking project, he should know banking domain end to end, and he should be expert. If he is a healthcare application, he should know healthcare domain end to end perfectly without having any, right? So, and he should be a very people's person. People's skill is essential because he's managing and driving his entire team to achieve his goal. And he should be able to have a clear vision. So he should be able to clear decision, need to take at correct time, right? Unless things will not work. So decision making is a very essential thing, and decision making will very effective to drive the entire program or entire Scrum deliver. So because of that, his decision making skills very essential to make sure everything. And he should be accountable. So what is accountable? Accountable means not he's not financially accountable. He's accountable for the delivery. He's accountable for the product he's supposed to create. He's accountable to the client and all stakeholders what he's going to deliver at the end. It's become as a part of responsibility. So that's what we call accountants. Okay. So this accountability is a very high responsibility for him. Okay, so what is the role of Scrum Master? So I think we have some idea about product owner. So we looked at who's a Scrum Master then, right? The Scrum Master is the person who's driving the team, right? And the previous person basically vision. It's based on product owner's vision. Scrum Master has to drive. So he has to facilitate his team meetings, and he need to do the make clear communication. He need to drive the team, and he need to track what we are delivering, and he or she has to report what we do and all the maintenance and making sure the team is taken care of and all those things, right? So will part of Scrum Master. So when it comes to his responsibility, I mentioned it here. So he need to make sure Scrum teams understand the sprint goals, scope, product, and they are working according to the sprint, right? And what we decided part of the sprint. And he need to make sure teams are following the Scrum process. They know Agile process, Scrum process, and if there are any gaps, they need to make sure get them trained. So he need to make sure all the impediments and it has to be attacked and get sorted out, and he need to make sure he or she or whatever who person he has to make sure the team is moving and all these things, right? So it's kind of a he's committed to make sure that what we agreed for a specific sprint, what we are delivering, right? What we'll discuss what is sprint as I think I didn't tell about the sprint. Okay. So if you go back these two roles, right? So product owner and Scrum Master is very key roles that we need to really looked at, right? So when we looked at the previous, so if we are comparison previous waterfall method development, so we have person called project manager, but here we don't have person called in Agile. There's no person called project manager, so we only have product owner and Scrum Master as a leads. So do you have any idea what happened to project manager role? Is it no longer valid or it has been replaced? Basically, I think it's not fair to compare as well. So because of software development, so waterfall development projects, the objective is completely different. So we have to do large deliveries, large projects, and we have to uh, big band product projects. So that means products. So that means we have to deliver everything at once. And because of that, a lot of managerial challenges are there. Because of that, project manager role has been evolved and it has been established to making sure project is executed. But now, so because of incremental development, small development, and so we don't have the large expensive responsibilities. So part of project manager work has been taken over by the Scrum Master right now. And some one or two responsible like vision and driving, those things will taken out by product owner. But we can't say exactly project manager is divided within the product owner and Scrum Master because it's a two different perspective, right? So I know some people are telling now Scrum Master is project manager. It's totally wrong, right? So if project manager role has not available in this model itself. No project managers. So that's but there are different roles, different perspectives. So because of that, don't try to map it. Some activities, some responsibilities are there in the Scrum Master and with the product owner, and some ownerships has moved to the development team itself as well. But the perspective is different, so that role is not required. But even for a large organization, sometimes even we run on this Scrum or Agile, there are project managers because their responsibility are right now redefined. Right? So I think you will be experiencing when you go to the really in the industry. In the industry, there are roles like that, right? So it will be redefined, right? Uh, but different perspective. Because of that, don't try to mix it up. Project manager roles are still available, even in the agile model we have, but they do different kind of role, but not purely what they are doing in uh, waterfall model development. Right. So that's the deviation. Okay. So so then when we come to the again Scrum or Agile, so we manage the requirement as epics, user stories, and tasks. So if you looked at so any project, so the high level requirement will gather is as if epic. So maybe if you looked at the same topic we discussed like taxi booking app, right? So I'm taking the same. That's easy to understand. So there will be three, four areas we do the estimation like uh, route selection, taxi selection, payments, right? Likewise. So those can be epics, right? We can consider as epics. And under the epic, you have user stories. Each epic, there might be multiple user stories. So like uh, route selection. So you can basically we can see two stories. One is you can select routes by using the Google Maps, or you that's a one user story. Then you can define how you are going to do that. There will be another user story you can identify it. So that user story will be uh, selecting roads by giving the exact coordinates or address names or something like that. So those are two stories. So if you looked at payment, right? So you can do the payment by credit card, you can do the payment by different wallets, you can do the payment by cash. So those are different uses stories. Right? So Epic will be the payment. So and subtask it will be the activities you are going to do. So development team will going to develop uh, connecting Google Maps, and there will be a task one task. So, and there will be a QA team supposed to develop the test cases for that and run and execute. There will be another subtask. So those will be subtasks. So this is how we are going to manage requirement. Basically, requirement will come as epics and user stories. So every epic, there will be large number of user stories or few user stories, and those user stories will describe what's supposed to do. So that's basically agile how we are going to manage the requirement. So there won't be a detailed system requirement documents or detailed business requirement documents or something like that we develop for a waterfall model. So there are large documents we use to develop. system requirements or business requirements. So these business or system requirements comes simplified as epics and user stories. Epics and user stories. The task will be the activities we need to perform to develop those. So that's what we will do. Okay. So this is how we basically. So this is sample, right? If you think if you have to that this is application, you need to you have a wish list. So think if you are going to do a maybe something like Daras or something like that, right? Ali Express or something like that. Something like application. So you think you are going to order something, right? But same time you have a wish list. If you have noticed something interested, you can tag them and keep it to if you require to order later. So wish list. So if you have a wish list, so this will be a epic. As a customer, I want to be able to have a wish list to do that. I can come back and buy products later. So that's the wish list epic. So user stories as a customer, I won't be able to save the product in wish list that I can view it again later. So other user stories as a customer, I won't be able to view my wish list so that I can buy. First user story for a view, the second user story buy, right? So those are so viewing is a one feature and buying is another feature. The feature will describe as a story. Task will be what we are going to do. So add wish list button, create new DB, right? Create page to display users, view wish list, edit wish list, and some buy list, something like that. Those will be tasks. What we are going to do, right? Okay. So the other thing is how this is about the requirement. Do you have any questions up to now? You have any questions? I think you can ask or you can put into the chat as well. If not, we can continue. Okay. So the next thing is agile ceremonies and process. I think I need to give a brief overview of agile ceremonies as well. So before that, so before we go on, right? So agile in this round, we have something called sprints. Sprint means iteration. So we will start usually sprints from the sprint zero. The first sprint we usually name is at sprint zero, the first iteration. The second iteration we call that sprint two, sorry, one. Third iteration we call that sprint two. Third iteration we call as sprint two. Sorry, fourth iteration we call as sprint four. Right, guys? So we will start from the zero to until we complete the delivery. Right, maybe a number of sprints. So each sprint is an iteration. Right. So how we are going to start sprints, right? And how we are going to end the sprints. So that's the what we are going to look at. So basically, we need to the very first string is sprint. So sprint zero, what we mainly do is we need to do a backlog row. So we need to have we need to clearly define the backlog. Backlog means all the user stories what we have to deliver. We will call it as a backlog or all the epics what we have to develop and deliver. So epics and user stories we will consider as a backlog. The first thing is we need to groom the backlog. That means we need to define the backlog and find it. Come to a conclusion. So this is what we have to done, and we will identify what user stories will deliver in first sprint, second sprint, third sprint, maybe rough plan. So that's a backlog grooming. So grooming will happen in the sprints zero. So then once this backlog or requirement is clear, so then team will start from the sprint one usually onwards. So then the first uh, sprint, first thing is what we are going to do is sprint planning. Basically, from the plan backlog for this sprint, we will take and we will relook and we will plan how we are going to plan it. So basically, we will do the estimations and we will figure it out. So this resource will be a work on these items. This resource will be on testing. This resource on DevOps. This modules developed by X engineer and this module developed by Y engineer. And this planning activity happen in the very first day and this sprint planning session. So and everybody get together and do the plan. That's the very first activity when we start the sprint, right? So this is will happen. So backlog is right now, bro. We will have a list of user stories, and you have given your first sprint. You have to do first three user stories. So then the planning session you will discuss and derive, come to a plan. This is how we are going to do. Then we will start the work. So from next day onwards, you will have a daily stand-up morning. So next day because you will be assigned some activities for a whole sprint. Every day you have to tell what you have been achieved, right? What you have not achieved, and what are the challenges. Basically, three items you have to tell what are the achieved, not achieved, and what are the challenges to achieve your work. So based on your status, the Scrum Master will measure the task completeness, and you will be move on. And one every day there will be daily stand up, but daily stand up will be very maybe not many hours, maybe 15 minutes. That's the best practice. You always ask limit it to the 15 minutes and complete it. So that's our plan basically. But so once you continually continue at the sprint end, you will be delivering what we have to do based on what you have completed. So once delivery is over, there's another key session we call retrospect. Right? Retrospective is what we are evaluating, what we have, what went well, what didn't work, and how you can improve in next session. Basically, we will relook and we'll look our feedback and we'll identify these items went well for a sprint one. So we need to continue. And these items didn't went well because there are problems. And this is what we learn from this sprint. Hopefully, next sprint, we need to continue. You need to identify these three areas and bring it forward to the next sprint. Basically, in a sprint, so maybe 2, 3 period of work. Basically, it's 2 weeks, but some people like to go into 3 weeks. It's fine. I noticed there are 4 weeks sprint. Even I worked. In one organization I have seen, they do 3 months sprint. It's almost like waterfall, but it's okay. But if they have happy with that, I think if their model is that, then okay, right? But there's no hard fast rule to be a 2 weeks or 3 weeks. If they decided it should be 3 months, it's okay. But it almost we are realigning back to the waterfall method. Hence, might not recommend that. But again, it's the organization responsibility to define your sprint, right? But your sprint have these three tasks mainly. Sprint planning, based on the planning you will drive, then daily stand up. Daily stand up will measure you what you have done, and at the end, retrospective to make sure what you have learned and deliver is correct and it is there, right? But if there is anything left, so we will be think you though you plan 3 stories, you only deliver three two stories. So one story is left, then you need to put into the next sprint. And at the next sprint planning session, you need to get those spillover. Right? We call tell spillovers. You need to take the spillovers and plan it. So that is how we will do the ceremony. That's we call ceremonies and process. So that's basically the ceremony means how we are, how the dance will do, right? How the people will dance or something like that. So this is how we'll play the scrum, right? So sprint at a sprint. So there similarly these kind of there will be multiple sprints. From zero to sprint and number of sprints will be there. So any questions on this? So because this is agile basics, I'm just sharing it to you all because this will be utilized used in any organization. Everybody right now in agile, right? So we'll do a hands-on session as well as I mentioned. Okay. So this is backlog grooming, right? So I mentioned, right? So we have to do the backlog grooming at the beginning, at the first sprint zero. Basically, project team, product owner, all the stakeholders get together and we will define our backlog. Means our entire requirement we will put to a bucket and identify, right? And then we need to do the sprint backlog as well. How which sprint, what kind of activities you are going to, which features you are going to do each sprint. So that's what we will do. Okay, okay. So this is how we will go into so back. So once sprint started, every sprint we will take the our sprint backlog and we will redefine as we watch. That freedom is there, right? There's not hard fast rule. You need to go with the as defined initially. The things will get changed. You are allowed to get changed, right? So that is the most advantage in agile. It's not very conservative or very strict process. You have your freedom to change your model, way your work and features, everything, right? But you need to communicate to each other and clearly, but you have the freedom, right? It's more democratic version of software development. So this is how it's happening, right? So we will have multiple features. So we'll prioritize based on our priority. So and then we do the priority and we'll find out how which features will be doing first and which features will do at the end. And those decisions will taken at the grooming session. So yeah, this is graphically explained here. Sorry. So I think that's how it will be ended up with, right? So sprint planning is the one key activity. At the planning, uh, we discuss our all the effort will required and we'll decided who is going to do what task and assigned and we will get clear what kind of based on our sprint backlog, what are the things we are going to do and what is our plan to get it done. Right. And this is our ownerships and this is our responsibilities. All will define and we will go to the work based on the outcome, right? So when it come to the planning process, one key activity we need to do is we need to estimate our work. So when we need to estimate, right? So and when we are estimating, so basically in Agile we use uh, planning poker method. So I think during the estimation activities, I mentioned there's a method called planning poker, right? So planning poker will mainly use the scrums for agile. So planning poker is basically we are playing a poker, right? So and we will have a poker card set and we will give different values for different cards. The first card will 0, second card will be 0.5, third one is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 20, 40, 100, and infinite. So this is how we'll be giving the values for in the card. And we call these as story points. So we will be measure our estimation using the story points. Right? So based on our requirement, we will measure the story point of our each requirement using the planning poker session and we will figure it out what is the size of the application, right? So basically each points will have different values. So this is planning poker. This is your card set, right? So if this is a card set, so think if we have a requirement to estimate, so maybe we'll go back to our initial one that is taxi booking app. So there's a requirement to select locations for Google Map or something like that, map. So if we are going to implement that, so first you need to estimate it. So how we are going to estimate? So basically, so everybody will ask to do their own estimation. So each team member will ask. So think if you have 70 members in the Agile sprint, so sorry Scrum team, so we will ask 7 members to do the estimation their own and do it. So once they have done their own estimation, So what we'll ask from master is, they will ask to show you a card. So based on your estimation, you need to show one of these cards. 1 story point, 2 story point, 3 story point, 8 story point, 30. Or people will show their cards without showing to others. So then there will be few people will assume the few people show the card number 8, and few people mention card number 5, and one or two people said 30. So then what we will do is, people, if there is a majority of people vote 8 or show the 8 card, we will consider the estimation is 8. Or so there are no majority. There are various numbers. So then we will ask to do the re-estimation again, their own, and come back. But if think the majority has mentioned 13, then we will go the 13 as estimation. So based on the majority people who are doing, so we'll select estimation as 13 or 8 or 5. So that's a plan in poker game. So based on this cards number that we are going to show to everybody, we will going to decide the one based on your estimation. But when we are doing it practically, we need to do it more scientifically. But we'll do that exercise as a practical one, and you will get understand it really how it's happening. So that's how it will be happen. Similarly, there's something called t-shirt sizing. So we call t-shirts and small, medium, large, extra large. So we can t-shirts bucket our estimation into these kind of buckets as well. Think if somebody is, a few people estimate 1 or 2 or 3, so we will take that small size t-shirt. Somebody estimated 5, 8, so then we will say it's a medium. So if some estimate 13, 20, or something similar, we go large size t-shirt. And somebody estimated 40 and 100, we will get extra large. So based on that, based on our estimation, we can categorize that model as well. T-shirt side methods also some another technique we do within the. So we will categorize whether size is small, medium, large, or extra large. So that way also we estimated our requirement, right? So based on your values. So either do the planning book and see what is the majority, or either we'll bucket it and figure it out whether it's a small, medium, or large, or extra large. Right? So that's another technique that people use. So any clarification or anything? So this is basically agile dashboard actually that's developed by Jira. So Jira will be one of good tool to develop your agile dashboard. Basically, we derive. So basically, in agile dashboard, will use to measure the your status progress, right? So let me show you. I'll deep dive agile dashboard it later. So after that, there is stand up details as well, right? Okay. So but I will come back here. So now we discuss the last one. What we need to discuss is daily Scrum meeting. So not the last one. So the second one. So the daily Scrum meetings. Basically, we daily Scrum. We limit to the 15 minutes. So same place, same time we will be do facilitated by Scrum Master. So basically 3 questions, right? You need to answer 3. What did you do yesterday? What is you are going to do today? And if you do you have any challenges or impediments or blockers, you have to tell. Because of this problem, because of I don't have network, because of my PC is broken, or because the requirement is not clear, I can develop or something like that. Right? So basically what you have tell what you have done yesterday. I complete this XYZ. Today I'm going to do this PQR, and but I don't have issue. Oh, I don't right now I am blocked because network is problem or something like that. Right? So this is what we are going to discuss in daily stand-up. So but only limit to 15 minutes, right? So we should not waste our time for a large scrum, scrum, daily scrum, because we need time basically for the development, right? So basically, we don't want to waste time everything, right? But track the progress. So we'll do this scrum meeting, right? So based on the scrum meeting, we will develop, uh, me show. Come back to this again. We will start maintaining this dashboard. So this dashboard has few things. What are the planned activities? The first one is planned. Second one will be to do what we have supposed to do, and what is in progress. Doing means in progress, and what is verifying, what is testing, and what is completed. Right. So basically, to-do list. So every list we can use a paste it first and put it to here as a list. Every will have an activity. And once we started doing activity, you can move it to do it. So the today's daily scrum. So the engineer one came and say, I started task A. So then I can move this task A to the doing column. So next day, the developer come and said, so I completed. Now it's ready for testing or verifying. So tester need to take it to a verifying stage. So on third day, tester come and say, I completed that task. He need to put it to the done column. So basically, every day morning when we are doing our status updates, we will move these uh, sticky notes or we have paste it from one column to other column based on the completion state. At the end, at the sprint end, at the scrum, sprint end, everything should be under done. At the start of the sprint, everything in the to-do column. But in the middle of the scrum, it might set of thing might be in under doing, set of thing under verifying, set of things under in progress, set of already might move have done. So that's object, right? So by using this dashboard, we are going to measure, right? We will do this practically, this exercise. So then you will get to know. Okay, so that's how it's happening. So the other more point is burn down chart. You need to maintain a burn down chart. Basically, you have defined burn down. This is at the sprint planning, you need to define your burn down. What is actually how we are going to achieve the task. This is vice versa. So you might see that our so when we are when we are playing the cricket matches, right? So they will have a burned up charts. Initially, the first team has been played, and how the second team is going to chase them out, right? You can see the graphs. So this is how this is burned up, right? So this is how we are chasing. This is so basically what we are measuring here is burn down. So initially we have 100 works. First day we complete 10 works. Now 19 works. Third day we have 80 works. So that's our plan. And we will measure it against the actual. Though we plan to complete 10 works first day, we might have completed one or two. So then it will be like this. So we will be measuring how we are going to complete the task. The actuals are here it's mentioned in red. So daily you need to measure and see how we are going to end up with the plan B. And so burn down chart is very essential to measure your status. So basically those dashboard and the burn down chart. Those are the key dashboard is this dashboard is this is the board, right? And this is the burn down. I think those are the two areas. Basically we need to mainly measure it, right? These are another burnt out right? So it has been done like this, and last minute they have completed somehow. Put a lot of additional effort to get it done. So the last one, right? Retrospective, right? As I mentioned, as a team, we need to get together, genuinely get together and discuss what we did well, what went well, and what didn't, and what we have learned. Right? So basically, we have to discuss, right? So there will be a lot of tasks we achieved based on that. So we need to find. I think someone's mic is switched on. I guess, right? Okay, let's Okay, let's move on. I think you can switch off if it's not a question. I yes. Okay. The respective we will find out what we have done and what went well and what didn't. So then same time we need to identify the spillovers. So spillovers need to bring it to the next sprint, right? Sprint one we have completed and there are things spillover. So we need to bring it to the next sprint.
මගේ සයිස් එක දන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයා දන්නවද? පොඩි වීඩියෝ ගන්න. ඒක සුදු එක 1768.
This is what we will do basically in the retrospective meeting. So we will list down what worked well, what didn't well, and what should we have done differently. These are the three areas. I think this is a very open discussion. So we openly have to tell what worked well and what didn't, and what we should do different. I think this is a very good model. So even if as a country, if everybody can practice this in any work, so we could be able to have a better outcome, right? So we openly discuss what went well and it worked and what we should done in different. But you can practice it in your any event you're doing and any things that you actively work on, right? Okay, sure. So let's move on. Right? Oh, retrocity is something like that, right? Okay, so I think so this is team velocity. This also we need to measure at the every sprint. So what we have taken, what we have delivered. Sometimes what we delivered the same thing what we have planned. Sometimes what we not deliver what we plan, right? Based on various. Sometimes what we deliver the same thing we plan, right? So it will be like this. This is also we need to measure. So many backlogs and many burned up charts and many charts you can measure how we are going to do it, right? So the advantages of the agile is basically it's a early, so that it's sustainable. So it bring high quality, and as I mentioned, have a lot of control over it. It's kind of a very democratic approach, right? So I think I discussed these things. So what is the QA process? I think that's a good one we need to look at, right? So how we are going to do it, right? So this is no any rocket science or any deviation. So what here? So what you need to do is so same activities, right? So as we mentioned. So but there are very three key stuffs we need to make sure there shouldn't be any communication gaps, right? QA and developers. So daily meetings, we need to tell exact output, exact outcome, and status. So and everybody has to work collaboratively and based on this status, right? And you need to touch base with developers and to make sure you are doing it perfect. So basically, great communication. So it's very essential. So daily Scrum meeting we need to join and retrospective we need to join and make sure we need to share our thoughts and work in parallel with developers very essential and very collaborative is required and all these test cases and everything has to be documented clearly and we need to ask questions and directly from the product owner and work with very closely with the product owner and regular face-to-face meetings rather than official conservative communications, right? So that's very essential. So advantage, what are these are the again I think we discussed again the previous day as well. So very good interaction with QA, BA, dev. So and time taken to resolve the problems is very low because then and there we can resolve the issues very openly. Workload especially spread it out, and it banned exhausting or burning up of this people is very less, and software can be provided small fees and like show to the client, and every sprint, and we can make sure we are delivering correct. All these are very good points. Okay. So basically, so that's the value. That's a basically overview of Agile. So that's the first two parts I want to cover. So when it comes to the Agile, so in the QA perspective, there are two things that is coming out, right? So one thing is basically uh, uh, two concepts, right? One concept is basically test-driven development, right? So other concept is behavior-driven development, right? So let me show that as well. I think that part is in the other presentation. So let me take it. Okay. So this is test-driven development and behavior-driven development in Agile. So based on the this will be a part of Agile again. So right now we use two different concepts, test-driven development or either behavior-driven development as a part of Agile to make sure we get the more optimum work, right? So the testing perspective, QA people will mainly involved in these approaches, but it's not limited to testing, but these are two different Agile approach. Test-driven development means so when the requirement is ready in your sprint, you will first write the test cases. Your test cases will be considered for the requirement for developer. The developer will code based on your test case. So basically you will write the test case and you will automate your test case and you will integrate it into the CI/CD pipeline. So what developer will do is Developer will look at your test cases and he will start developing his software. So basically, your test cases considered as acceptance test case here. So we call acceptance test driven development as ATD. Some people say it's ATD. It's fine. Acceptance test driven development. Basically, your test cases is the acceptance criteria for you as the development. And when developer is completing his code, your test cases will get, if it is automated and integrated to the CI/CD or DevOps pipeline, it will automatically get executed and you will get the results with the how many test cases pass fail. If all test cases are passed, you consider it's accepted. If there are few test cases are failed, then developer has to go back and fix and recommit the code. Then again, there will be another set of test case will get pass and few more another fail. Then again, developer has to go back and fix it until your test cases are getting 100% pass. So once it pass, you will consider code is accepted. Until code is accepted, developer has to refactor and commit. So that's the process. Test-driven development. Basically, your test cases will drive the development. So that's a one of common method of doing the development in the Agile. So tester will write the test cases and automate and do the dev. He will integrate the CI/CD pipeline. So then developer will look at the test cases and develop his code. And as soon as he develop based on your test case, it either it's get pass or fail. And if it is failed, developer has to refactor until it get pass. So once you get past all your test cases, we consider it's accepted. So that's why some people say it's accepted test driven as well. Okay. So that's accepted test driven. That's one method of software testing done in Agile. Right? So the other thing is behavior driven development. So that's again the development approach. Here, what we do is, so rather we use the test case as input for the development, the requirement comes as a features, behaviors, how application behave. So it comes as a features and behave, it described in a behavioral way. So based on the behavior, developer will develop his code and tester will develop his test cases and his automation scripts. And once test case is completed, he will integrate with the CI/CD pipeline and commit the code. And when developer is commit the code, your test case will be executed. But your test case is developed based on the behavior that is written by identified by business analyst. And similarly, developer also develop his code based on the behavior identified by the BA, right? So because of that, once your test all the test cases pass, if it's when you run execute your test cases, there will be set of pass and set of fail. If that is a fail, developer has to refactor his code until your test case pass. It's same as TDD, but the change is developer will not look at your test case and write it. Developer looked at behavioral features that developed by the business analyst, and he will do the code. Similarly, QA will do the his own test cases by looking at these behaviors that is developed, right? So that's a difference. So because of that, we call behavior driven development. Based on the behavior of the application that is identified, we do the development and testing. So that's another way of doing testing in Agile. But again, these are not testing frameworks, these are Agile frameworks. Okay, any questions on these two topics? So test-driven development and behavior-driven. These are the two areas. Mainly, most of organizations today use these either TDD or BDD in their Agile frameworks. So automation is mandatory, right? Without having automation, you can't do anything. So basically the TDDs, that's what I mentioned. So we will do the test cases and based on the test cases, based on the requirement, we'll develop the test cases. Based on the test case and developer will code it and execute it. And if there are failures, then they will refactor and until get 100% pass. And so that's what is stated. So this is something. So we definitely will do the hands-on. This will be a part of our automation, the BDDs also. So the few benefits are the unit test. It's actually prove that your code is working, and refactoring allow to quickly this complete the code, and it's kind of a low level regression. So then kind of so sometimes developer feel it is a waste of time, and it may be trouble for them because of writing test case based on test case to do development. There are something like that. Right? So BDD is, as I mentioned, so we will derive our requirement as a behavior of application. Basically, we use three terms: given, when, then. So you can see here it's mentioned. Given, when, then is the terms we are going to use when deriving the behaviors. Behaviors derived is a given, when, then term. So we'll do a practical, we will have automation session for this. So we'll see how it is done. Then you will be, this is kind of extension of TDD. So based on the behavior that we develop using the given, when, then, the developer will develop, and QA will develop test cases, and he will run, execute it against the code. And if there are failures, developer has to refactor until all the test cases get passed. Okay, so that's the BDD. So this is a sample BDD's feature file scenario, given, when, and this is how they will be writing, right? This is sample set of scripts.
Did. Oh,
Okay, so this is set of benefits, right? So, okay, basically the collaboration, so it's shorter learning curve, high visibility. So it's we can do the very rapid iterations because of the, and so a lot of waste eliminations can be done. So very, this is more business objective. So that's the more benefits of BD. But then when you look at the difference, right? So TDD starts the test case, but here BDD starts the behavior, even then it's statements. So basically TDD focus on functionality, right? Because it's test case oriented. But here the behavior of the application, not the functionality of that. So test cases are morely kind of programmed like that,
oh,
right? Because it's
பின்னர மனுஷன் என்ன நம்மள்ட்ட நேத்து என்ன ஜஹாரா ஹோல்ட் பண்றா இல்ல லெக்சர்ஸ் ஆன்லைன்ல நடக்குது இப்ப ம், ஆ, உண்மைக்கும் ஆ,
okay, I think I muted. Okay, so then these are the benefits basically, right? So collaboration required, development teams, and here also the collaboration required for all stakeholders. The tools used for the JUnit test and this kind of thing. BDT we use basically Cucumber. So, so, so these are the few differences and equivalences of the thing. Okay, so this is basically how we are going to use Agile for a QA perspective. So we either use BDD or TDD concepts. There will be new things will come in the field in future with this AI and a lot of things that are now integrated in the software development process, right? That will be our last session. So we looked at how AI going to be incorporated for the process. With that, I am pretty sure there will be a lot of new things will come in. But right now, it's TDD and BDDs are the two agile frameworks we use for the testing, especially test-oriented testing perspective, right? So we use BDD scripts. We'll develop it as a part of our automation, and we'll then get the hands-on experience on it as well, right? So, do you have any questions on test-driven development or behavior-driven development right now? Then you can ask, either you can put it to chat. Do you have any questions? Anything? Right. So then we'll go back to the previous slide. Okay, so basically, I am going to look at the challenges in agile development as a first case study. So, so this is my first case study. So what's the required is identify challenges in agile development, right? So I'm not going to give the time to understand this right now since we are doing online. Let me describe. Right. So resistance to change is one of fundamental challenge because we as a Sri Lankan, we all know we most of the time we resist to change ourselves, right? That's a common characteristic of human being. So because of our resistance to change, that we don't like to change. We want to keep continue as we know maybe how ugly it is, but we would like to continue, right? Some that's a human nature. No need to worry. Even for us, let's say. So that will be first challenge, right? So because we are not resist, we might resist the change. Somebody is coming and trying to implement agile from waterfall, so we will object him. We will trying to ruin him definitely, right? So that's our nature. That's the one of fundamental problem. Other one is a lack of clarity. Because we might not have clear clarity what is agile, and we might go with some rumors, some social media things, and all those things, and we will not like to do it. And sometimes we most of the time I see people in this is for Asians, right? They don't like to empower team members. They want to do themselves, but they don't want to empower other people. They want to empower other friends or team members, colleagues. So that's a fundamental problem, right? Because of that, they do that will be challenging. So and communications wise, we are not great as a nation, we are not doing great, right? So that will be challenge in Sri Lanka context. But I don't think it is a problem for many countries. People do communicate very well, but here definitely will be a challenge. The robust daily communication will be a challenge. Taking the team focus so to some different things here and there and getting focus is always will be challenge. And going with the flow, right? We always comfort of going with the one defined flow that is we used to have. We don't like to change again. So something in which dimension. I mean, so most of the time, sometimes we don't get the correct support from the leads, right? So that's also we get frustrated, and will not. Right? So sometimes other people will not like to support. Maybe developers might not like, BS might not like. Right? People, so that will be a challenge. sometimes we estimating upcoming work might will be a challenge because sometimes our estimation go wrong, right? That we discussed previous classes. So the figuring out correct approach and all these structures. Sometimes we build up our own silos, right? Agile is not allowed to silos. It's a very collaborative. Sometimes QA people get together, they work differently. Sometimes developers work differently. They are silos. So silos won't work in Agile. We have to very collaborative, very transparent, very democratic on it, right? We need to have right skill sets and right champions. We call champions. If we have right skill set, then it's easy. If we not, it's tradition, difficult. So sometimes we know all team management, like project management, team management stuffs. Those are traditional, and we might not able to clearly adapt for the new changes, new techniques. And sometimes we are not ready to collaborate. That's one other problem with even Asian countries. We don't like to collaborate. We like to fight, right? Each other. It's not common for slow Asians in everybody. We can see even right what Middle East happening. They don't like to collaborate. They want to kill each other, right? That's the problem even in Agile we are seeing. We don't like to collaborate. We want to kill the other guy and get the credit for us. We think we can do that. That's completely wrong idea, right? So so these and project financing and all these things. So and processes might be impact. Sometimes agile is less process oriented, but sometimes heavy processes in organization will impact. Sometimes financing problems will be there to support agile team. So these are the challenges I think basically on agile. But you can Google it and find out your own, right? So since we conduct this session on agile. So these are the few areas I want to take highlight. So these are the challenges. So then we need to do this hands-on exercise. I think I'm not going to do it here today because it's not worth to do it online. Definitely we'll do this hands-on in university, hopefully. I let you know the possible day. But we'll do it as a hands-on, right? So this exercise will be completely run as a agile sprint, and we actually drive the agile sprint with your teams, and we'll see how we can drive it because that knowledge will be really essential for you, and it will help when we are moving to the industry or in the internships or anything, something like that, right? Okay, so we'll focus on that separately. So these are two things I would like to. So agile, there are two certifications, CSM and CSPO. CSM is Scrum yeah. So certified Scrum Master, CS, certified Scrum Project Owner. So these are little high price certifications, but you can try these certifications free. Alternatively, there are some agile certificates in LinkedIn, right? These that is free. There's a agile LinkedIn certification. Try on LinkedIn. If you are already in LinkedIn, make sure you try that. I'm not recommended right now at this stage, but these are good certifications. But you have to pay a little bit, right? So when you start some job or some earning, you can try. But there are certifications. So especially there are few certifications I have noticed in LinkedIn. I'm sure everybody is already in LinkedIn, right? If not, make sure you create your LinkedIn page and start maintaining because LinkedIn will be very essential to find out your job, right? So right now the job huntering will not work old fashioned way. So you everything comes via the LinkedIn, and people recruiters will look to your profile and they will call for interview volunteer, right? So because of that, going through LinkedIn is very essential, and that's very essential thing. So make sure you have LinkedIn profile if you're not already. Rather Facebook, I would recommend you to have a LinkedIn, right? And there are many free certifications in Agile you can try. Okay. So do you have any other questions? I think that's all for today's session I have to do. Since we are doing online, we can go a little fast. I know because I'm only talking, right? I'm not asking questions, so I'm not allowing time to think, right? Do you have any questions? No? So if you don't have anything, I think we can wind up session. Uh, do you I'm not seeing any single question. So actually, we are moving fast because of we are doing online. But we plan. I'm planning to do one hands-on session on this agile with a lot of activities, right? So I will bring some set of tools. So we'll do it kind of, it's kind of a game, right? We'll try to do it at the university. So if you don't have any questions, I think we can wind up. Any feedback, any questions, anything? I think feel free to talk to me if you have anything, or you can even connect with me if we know, get some support if required. Yeah, we'll try to have a next session or I the next upcoming one of upcoming session has in the university, and we'll do the hands-on, right? I'll confirm with. Okay. If you don't have anything, we'll wind up session for today. Let me stop the recording.